What really happened over the last 6 years? Lockdowns, censorship, fear, rules that made no sense, yet were enforced without question. While you were told it was for your safety, freedoms disappeared, business collapsed, and dissent was silenced. Today, I'm talking with Matt in the Hat, what he saw, what he experienced, and why he believes we've been living through more than a health crisis. Was it mismanagement or a global agenda hiding in plain sight? Hi, I'm Claire Dyer, and this is Dire Consequences on Unprecedented TV, because when those in power make dire decisions, it's ordinary people to live like us with the dire consequences. Here at Unprecedented, we advocate for free speech, uncensored conversations. Our role is very clear: to ask the questions others avoid, to protect open debate, to challenge the narratives, not to tell you what to think, but to defend your right to think freely. So please do like and subscribe so we can keep bringing you the truth. So over the past 6 years or so, since COVID and lockdowns reshaped our world, we have witnessed freedoms restricted, debate narrowed, and trust in institutions completely shaken. Policies that often defied common sense, agendas that felt disconnected from everyday reality, a climate where questioning was just too easily dismissed. Many are now wondering, and more every day, can we trust the politicians, their parties, their promises, or have we been living through not just a political crisis, but actually a spiritual and psychological one as well? Today, I'm going to be speaking with Matt in the Hat about what he has witnessed and personally experienced over the last 6 years. Not theory, not headlines, but lived reality. His perspective, his challenges, and what it reveals about the times we're living in. Because if these are unprecedented times, they most certainly demand unprecedented scrutiny. So I'd like to welcome today Matt.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm really excited. Thank you for having me on. This is a dream.
Really?
Thinking back to, you remember when you liked my stone piles and what we were all doing back then, and the hopelessness of the situation.
Yeah. Well, what struck me, I mean, obviously I found you, or you found me on Facebook some many years ago, and it was your photography and your videography, but mainly your photography. I mean, your perspective and your insight through the pictures and the videos you take, I kind of feel is kind of second to none, and I'm quite proud to have a piece of your photography hanging in my house.
Oh, thank you. It was a privilege to give it to you as well. You've done so, and that was back then. You were doing so much to bring out awareness. That was back then. It's been incredible to watch your progress. It really has.
Oh, thank you. That's really kind. Well, I wanted you to come on because I think you're a little bit, I mean, we're totally different people, but you're a little bit like me. I want to take you back sort of 6.5 years ago, and how things have changed for you and when it started.
Right. Okay. That's a long journey, isn't it?
It is. So we'll probably have to break it down. But I'm guessing you, like me, were a little bit unaware of kind of what was going on around us until COVID hit.
Do you know what? I was asked this question recently, and I've read John Pilger, Hidden Agendas, which gives you this was written in the 1990s, and it tells you a lot about the hidden workings of Britain's foreign policy and multinationals. I knew all about the Iraq War, what a stitch up that was, but it really didn't affect me. So I'm living in the Western world, living a good lifestyle. I knew this was sort of going on, but it didn't affect me until COVID came along, and it's like, oh my God, they're going to do it to us as well. they're taking us out.
So what made you kind of get involved back then? Because you're quite in the centre of it, aren't you? Because you go to all of the protests. I mean, you haven't stopped going to protests over the last 6 years or so, have you?
If you look at my videos, you'll see why. I really enjoy them. You know, I always look for the speaker. Where's the music? Where's the dancing? Let's have some fun. The whole reason for that was what was my colleagues and neighbours, what everybody was saying, compare, you know, what they were seeing on the news. And I was going out and saying, well, look, I live with my mother. You know, my mother, she's 90 years old. And this is what I'm doing. I'm just having a good time. We're having the most amazing time I've ever had in my life. And you know, constantly putting up pictures of older people, you know, month after month, the same people. And it's still going on now. All the proof is there. I want to give a big shout out to Nikki Blue. She did a interview recently with Wilsey. She's a vaccine victim. I'm going to send you I'm going to send you the video. She comes across as so professional and puts the points of you know, the facts across. People need to be seeing this now. I don't understand why we're all talking about what we're talking about. This is the biggest crime in humanity, and we've just moved on. I just don't, you know, the power of the TV, there seems to be something more than that, because most people are aware now.
Well, this is the thing. It's like during lockdowns, I mean, the news were only sort of mildly covering it, weren't they? And, you know, I think there was one protest, I think in the summer of 2021, and there was like 1 million people there. And the news said it was like a few hundred.
Yeah. Yeah. We used to go every single month virtually to the, that was a fantastic, that's the one. That somebody, you see somebody's climbed up on these statues there at Trafalgar Square. There were protests that me and Dean went to where we sat down and had a 3-course meal just watching it go past. There was one protest we went to, we never saw the front of it and we never saw the back of it. And we were trying for about 4 hours. It just went on for miles. It was just incredible.
And yet the censorship on that, they really tried to shut it down, didn't they? They didn't want people knowing that this was going on.
Yeah, I'm on my 3rd YouTube channel now. I think I had 3 Facebook accounts at one point and was just swapping from one to the other every other week, just used to it, you know.
Yeah, trying to fight through the censorship.
Yeah, I don't think really though, Claire, back then I had much grip on reality in as much as the way algorithms work on social media. And I'm not sure I understand it too much now, but I know I'm in an echo chamber. And I know the groupthink mentality that I'm in now is actually very, very, very frustrating, because I don't believe we're dealing in facts anymore. I think there's so many people out there that don't actually admit they don't know what's going on. I don't want to come on and be as the, you know, it's good to have somebody on the camera that's confident and can tell you what's going on, because then you'll believe them. That's why we listen to these influencers. I've stopped listening to people now because how do they know what's going on? It's been such a psyop.
Yeah, and this is the problem. There's so many people now, and there's on all forms of social media. And I'm going to say now, with AI as floating around as much as it is really, really hard now to pick out the misinformation. I would have said kind of 6 years ago, it was a minority of people trying to speak out. That it felt like there was just the two sides. There was the mainstream media and also what our government was telling us, and then you had, you know, a small minority of very quite vocal people, and you could almost sort of trust it. But now I kind of feel like it's all becoming a bit of a blur, don't you?
Oh, it's most of it's nonsense in my opinion. It's just opinions backed up by confirmation bias that's been planted. I'm not saying this is the case, but most of the information that we've researched could possibly just have all been planted there anyway.
Do you think?
Yeah.
So what do you think the truth is then?
Well, put it this way. I've been led to believe, and rightly so as well in some respects, that it's all one big show because COVID was ridiculous. That was Monty Python. And
Yeah, I mean, look at this, the picture here. Do you remember that? It was like every week, wasn't it? They would stand on those podiums.
Yeah. I mean, I said to Dee, I used to say to people, I'm sure the British government are trying to wake us up. This has got ridiculous now. If you have a pork pie in your pocket, sit down, go 100, 200 yards down the road at the right time, you won't catch COVID. It was just like, what do you mean I've got to have another injection and another one? This is getting sick.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It was just...
And you know what I don't understand is there were so many things that kind of jumped out at you that didn't make sense. Like, for example, Partygate. You have Matt Hancock as well. Matt Hancock and the affair, which he then went on I'm a Celebrity afterwards and said it wasn't law, it was just it was just like guidelines. It was, and you kind of think, hold on a minute, but people's lives were destroyed following these rules that you stood on, on TV telling us we had to do. You had the party where they're all mixing and Boris as Prime Minister, socialising and obviously not social distancing. And as you said, pork pies, you had to have a substantial meal to be able to drink alcohol. And you kind of look back and think, why were people not questioning that?
The propaganda. So the nudge unit, the psychological, which they've admitted to using, the psychologists that they use to frighten people.
Well, this is the thing, SAGE was made up not of virologists and doctors. It was made up of psychologists. My question always was, why do you need psychologists to tell you how to deal with a pandemic?
Because they wanted to change the way we behave.
So I look at all of this and I think it is a psychological war.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Because it feels that everything they do and everything they say, every single act, every single policy, every single agenda that is inflicted on us, it's all the same psychological manipulation and conditioning being used. Like it's out of a book.
Yeah, I mean, I've got lots of opinions and theories, but if I stick to what I actually know,
Go on.
With my protest photos, the videos I put up with my mother, that COVID was vastly over-exaggerated, but they even said themselves right at the beginning, the vast majority of people will catch this disease and not even know they've got it. They told us that. Then they went on to say, but those who do catch it and display symptoms, it'll be cold-like symptoms. There will unfortunately be a small minority that get hospitalized and a very small proportion of those will die. I remember those words them telling us because I overreacted to it and said, no, it's going to be worse. I had some information off the internet again that spelled it out to be worse for me, believed it because it came from the screen. And now, because now I'm like a carp, I don't know if you've ever done carp fishing. Once they've caught one, they're very shy about picking up bait. I'm very shy about the information that I'm reading now. Like, where is this coming from?
Yes.
And I'm really noticing this herd mentality, group mentality of us being in an echo chamber. Yeah. I've recently been on social media trying to challenge people, just very, very gently. Where are you getting this information from? And it's like being back in the COVID days. Straight away, I'm an idiot. I'm asleep. I need to research, but no one can give me any real answers. They think they can, but they can't.
And this guy's got a very well-known nickname, hasn't he?
Matt the Cock.
That actually wasn't the one I was thinking of.
Yeah.
Yes, the song from Mad Mix Conspiracies. Yes, Midazolam, Matt.
Yes.
And his girlfriend, who he was sneaking out to see during lockdowns, while the rest of us were obviously either getting arrested. As you found out on the protests, people were getting arrested for being out protesting during lockdowns. It all feels like it was like a bit of a joke, really, apart from the fact that it isn't.
Claire,
they were mocking us all the time.
I heard I heard about the Midazolam murders, and I'd heard Kate Shamani talk about it. And there was an old boy I was looking after. He was just lonely during the COVID. He had a daughter in France and a daughter in Colchester, and I was the only person who went to see him. And which was quite weird because he was sitting there terrified of COVID and saying, "Come in, Matt." And I used to knock on his door and put with this portable speaker and put it on full blast and start dancing in front of the neighbours. And to ring his doorbell, and he'd come. "What are you doing?" And I was like, "Shut up, Alan. You know I go to protest. You know what I think. Come in. You'll be all right." Anyway, sorry, I'm cutting a long story short. He went into hospital a couple of times, and I had to go in. He said, "Matt, they're going to kill me in here." And I said, "You'll be all right. I won't allow it to happen." And I went up there every day visiting him, and every day I would take him out for a cigarette and have a laugh with the nurses. I say, "Give me 50 quid and I won't bring him back." And I went up. I left him for a Saturday, and to go to a protest. And when I went back the next day on the Sunday, they'd moved him. He was running a temperature. They told me they'd done a COVID test on him and put him straight onto nil by mouth, and they'd been suffocating him for 24 hours by the time I got there with midazolam. There's a video of it on YouTube, and it was the way the nurse smiled at me. She thought she was doing the right thing. They all thought it was for the best. The doctor couldn't look at me, and I walked out of there thinking, well, I've seen it with my own eyes now. This is evil. This is incredible. I can't believe you don't put dogs down like this. I mean, I went in there for the next 2.5 days filming him, what the state of him, what was going on. And it's not really pleasant. And I've met quite a few people since that have experienced the same. And we've just ended up hugging each other, crying over this.
There's many people. There's so many people that have tried.
I would encourage anybody to speak out. Start speaking out. We've all suffered a trauma.
That people were trying, and yet they were just shut down and censored. They were,
I mean, talk to each other. Forget the authorities. We've got to hear each other. Talk to each other.
Yeah, definitely.
Whereas now, that I was a firm belief that when people started waking up, we should be there for them and put an arm around them and say it's going to be all right because we've been through the trauma. We've walked this path. You're going to be okay.
Yeah.
And now we're all just shouting at each other, calling each other shills, lefties. It's just crazy compared to that love I experienced during COVID, which was incredible. That was the most diverse, inclusive community that didn't care what colour you were, what religion you were, what nationality. Nobody cared. We just wanted the truth and we wanted to help people.
We are definitely becoming more divided. And I think that's part of the agenda with the psychological war as well. We're gonna take a quick break, but we'll come back to this. We're just gonna have a look at another one of our shows, which is Team Scott Uncancelled.
Okay.
And that was the wonderful Tim Scott with Tim Scott Uncancelled, another one of the shows here on Unprecedented. And we're going to go. And there is Matt. Welcome back.
Thank you.
I've just realised how quick the time's gone and we've barely even scratched the surface. I can't even believe it.
Oh, well, really quickly then, can I plug my party?
Your party, go on, quickly, go on.
9th of May, Saturday, Saltine. I'm having an art exhibition. And I did this 5 years ago, trying to bring the community back together. I'm doing it again with another photographer, Joe Taylor. Victorious are playing. Mad Mick's going to perform. Charlotte, the opera singer, said she was coming. Wendy and Steve from Sounds Beautiful are going to be DJing in the flute. And loads of other people, Joby, Chris.
And obviously that's down near Brighton, because that's where
just outside of Brighton.
And for those who obviously don't know, you kind of gravitated and found yourself sort of what was called the freedom movement back then, and you met a lot of people, musical people, and as you just mentioned, bands like Victorious, and here's some of your photography that we've just brought up down at the coast near where you live. You live right on the beach, don't you?
Yeah, right on the cliff top.
Yeah.
Always windy here.
Yeah. So yeah, I would said really where my experience was, I'm going to say horrendous. It took me, well, I saw through it back in March 2020, but I found it very lonely, very isolating. I was stuck at home with young children, had young children at the time. I didn't really get to any protests. Whereas you, on the other hand, you kind of found your people, didn't you? As you said, you were going up to the protest with very lively, energetic, loving, musical people, weren't you?
Original protesters took 33 officers to arrest this one.
Oh.
You want the rest of the 33 officers to arrest this young woman? Ridiculous. Thank you.
And they still struggle.
It's fucking unbelievable. I've never seen anything like this in my life. They're just fucking nicking anyone. Literally any fucking one.
Tell me about that, Matt. What happened there?
That was December 2021. I actually went up with Dean, a friend of mine. He saw that I'd been to the month before and put up a load of pictures of the arrests, and he'd been to the summer ones. He said, we'll go up together. And I think the protest started off at Parliament Square. By the time it got to Downing Street, we were surrounded by riot police that were just coming out from everywhere and just attacking people, literally. And I glued myself to this YouTube called Tyrant Finder. And these riot police just come running at us straight past me to get to Dean. I literally pooped myself. The camera come up like that, and I just said, "Please don't hit me," and just went through them and turned around. And fortunately, I've got some really great footage of Dean, really good pictures of him. Fortunately, because of the cameras on him, I think that's why he got away with it. But they had a word. He left. He just said, "I can't handle this, man." And we carried on walking, and we didn't get. By the time we got to Trafalgar Square, the protests had been broken up. I'd never seen so many officers in all my life, and at that point, then I was just walking around showing you what had happened. That there was 15 minutes earlier, there were 5,000 people there. It was just gone. It was like being in a shoal of tuna, being surrounded by these vicious sharks.
Original protesters took 33 officers to arrest this one. You hold the record. 33 officers to arrest this young woman. Ridiculous. Thank
And they
you.
still struggle.
So I think what a lot of people don't realise is because obviously they were just watching mainstream media and there was a narrative being played out. But most of the people there that were going up every month were just normal, everyday people. People were going as families, they were taking their children in pushchairs. And it's you just said there, 33 police officers to arrest one woman.
Yeah, I would go so far to say that the people that I gravitated to were not just normal people. These were people I wouldn't normally mix with. They were artists. They were really creative, spiritual, beautiful people.
Okay, what I mean is they're not your stereotype protesters, as in like Antifa and stand up for racism. They're just everyday people like us.
It was an do you know what? It was a party. There was one summer we took Parliament Square. I don't know why. I don't know what we were doing, but it was I was in bare feet, and it was a beautiful day. And I was going around the gardens opposite Parliament at Parliament Square. And friends, I was getting to know people, and they would sit down and have a sandwich. What's your name? And give me a glass of champagne. I don't drink. It's not for me. But sandwiches were being handed out. And then I was looking at my other friends, and they're having sort of in the middle of the road, having fisticuffs with the police. Everybody's wrestling with each other, refusing to leave and sitting down. And I thought, I'm going to go back over there to the sort of the mini riot, and get involved. And it was crackers. Have half hour of that and think, I'll go back and go on the lawns and have a bit of easy time with these really lovely people. It was just a surreal experience.
Do you think through obviously the last 6 years, going to demonstrations and protests and, through your filming and your photography and making your videos, do you think it's kind of changed your perspective of like police, our institutions, our government?
I had quite a faith in a higher power, if you like, before all this happened. That ensures that I don't drink. I've got used to have a drink problem a long time ago, and it's really just basically that was just reinforced so much. I don't know what happened to me. There was a very lonely time. You described it before I got to the protest, of being isolated. Everybody was against me. So what is going on here? And recently there's been a lot of soul searching for me, having a look at me, first of all. My confirmation bias, where am I getting my information from?
Yeah.
Have I been turned over? What's going, looking at, reevaluating everything and looking at the people around me as well. Power corrupts.
Yeah, I can totally relate to that, because
I'm not talking about money. I'm talking about likes on channels, popularity on the stage. It's the egos of, and it's really quite wow. Well, I'm quite happy to be known as a fool and made a fool of myself. That's,
That's the thing, though. You're really not. And I think that might be misleading about you, that you, as you just said, you play the fool, and that's the persona, but actually you see a lot.
Well, I'm starting to see that I know the more I see, the more I know little of. Does that make sense? I've got the humility to explain that to you. I did think that this is one big cabal and blah, 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 which it could well be, but we have a very big part to play in it. We have a very big part to play in it.
I agree.
Every time I allow that woman to say to me, oh, the computer says no, or the shopkeeper to speak to me, give me an answer to a question that I haven't even answered. Do you know the way people avoid things? Well, that's a very good question, Matthew. But what I think we should be talking about is this over here, or your behaviour. The deflection on facts is just, the more we put up with this nonsense, this is what's happening.
And you going back to saying, you started looking at yourself and reevaluating. That's exactly how it was for me. I mean, I feel like not only did I open my eyes to what was going on around me, I almost opened my eyes inside to myself as well. And in you moving on, we're reflecting on ourselves as human beings. And we're very aware of the people around us. And you saying about egos, you're saying about corruption. I always say anybody can be corrupted. And it isn't just those in government and those, in our public institutions. We have been watching it over the last 5 years on social media. As you said, the likes, the views, even people starting to earn money through talking about this, on social media. Your ego. And I always say you need to always be aware of your ego, because, as I'm going to go back and say, I feel that all of this is a psychological and spiritual war on humanity itself.
Well, let me answer you that. There's a lot of people wanting Starmer removed, me included, politicians to removed, and I don't care which way they get removed, really. But here's the question: what are we going to replace them with? Has anybody actually? Because they will get replaced with something. Look at the mainstream now. Look at what the people want: leaders. And if everybody can be corrupted, it means we're in this vicious cycle of this just keeps on continuing on and on and on. When's it stop?
We're going to play another video, and then I want you to tell me about it afterwards.
Oh, okay.
Keep going.
Say something about the masks.
If you're wearing a mask, please return to home immediately. Take a long, hard look in the mirror at yourself.
What I am actually just going to say before you answer that is, I actually think you guys were and are the original Montgomery Toms. You know who that is, don't you?
Yeah, of course I do. Yeah.
You tell me what was going on this train.
We were on our way to London, and that particular day, the trains, there was engineering works. There obviously would be engineering works when we had a crowd to move up to London. We used to take over carriages, like 3 carriages on a train. We had musical instruments and loudspeakers, playing music, dancing. And of course, we had what back then we'd call him the sheep, would see us and panic and scurry away. But we ended up on this platform at Clapham Junction, and it was packed, and we needed to get the next train, but the platform was already packed with other passengers. And Sam he got his megaphone out. He said, and the next train would all unvaccinated passengers use the first 4 carriages. Vaccinated passengers go to the back of the train. And they all moved, and we had this. It was incredible. We just moved onto this train, and it just carried on. He made. I was lucky enough to be around this fella. He was a genius with his voice, pretending to make, with his loudspeaker, pretending to be the announcer. He did it in stations. There's one, hopefully, Lemmy will play it, where there's a woman walking along the roads, a policewoman, and he's got the loudspeaker, and he's saying something like, beware, there's free-range humans ranging around. This woman's being very brave, she'll help you. It's just...
I think we might have just seen that, actually, but...
There are free-range humans circulating the area. Please return to your homes immediately. This lady in the high vis will help you and escort you there. She's being very brave. She's breathing the fresh air. It's her first time in a year. Salute her. She's risking her life standing this close to us. Absolutely risking her life. Health announcement. The air is not safe to breathe. There are free-range humans circulating the area. Please return to your homes immediately. This lady in the high vis will help you and escort you there. She's being very brave. She's breathing the fresh air. It's her first time in a year. Salute her. She's risking her life standing this close to us. Absolutely risking her life.
Is that the volume gone again?
It's back again now. It's just as well I've seen the video, isn't it?
Yeah.
So I didn't need to hear it because I know what the video was, thank God. Yeah, we seem to be having some technical issues. So basically what I thought was really good about what you guys did was that you turned a bad situation, and you've actually sort of in a way continued to turn bad situations into laughter, into song, whilst at the same time you're gaining awareness through it and making a bit of a joke as well.
Yeah, do you know, I have to say, I've got to mention, and you should have him. I hope you do have him on, Jake. He's amazing.
I know.
Like to put it up, that amazing picture of the king and what he did with the beat. That is art, and I'm going to keep repeating this because to myself, art. Power corrupts, poetry cleanses. The creativity, the passing the message of awareness through creativity that's the spiritual connection. And that's something that can't be harnessed. And I think that's why I was gravitated towards artists, if you like, because you couldn't shut them up. And everybody was just, we've got to get this message out, either by poetry, photographs, music. Victorious and the Peace Festival now with music is just incredible. Live music creates magic. There's something in it. Forget about your mainstream stuff. Go and listen to a busker. Go and listen to a busker somewhere. Do you know? But the music's incredible.
Well, this is why I keep saying I want you to write me a song, because you write amazing poems, and some of your poems have actually been turned into songs, or you've got up on stage with Victorious, and at the same time you are spreading a message. You were talking your poems, Victorious, the band, you're all writing about what was currently happening over the last 5 years, 6 years.
Yeah, do you know what? I've got to be honest with you. A lot of that stuff that I'm just a bricklayer. That's all. That split up with his missus and did a bit of soul searching and found out his life was a lie. He'd been lying to himself for years, and then he found out the government was lying to him. It was quite traumatic, really. Denial, which I think is my favourite, is probably written to me. I'm in denial of what's going on. I'm in denial of this higher power is actually showing himself to me now. This is, as you say, a battle of spirituality, but it's no good just talking about it. You actually have to live it. You've got to go up and do something in your actions.
I was going to ask that. I don't think there is one solution, but what would you think is part of the way forward in this?
Right now, taking a deep breath and stepping back and having a look at what my beliefs are, what's going on, but what is happening with me.
Do you think?
Yeah, because I'll go back to that same thing again. It's very who am I helping by spreading? If I'm we'll go back to COVID again. If we'd have dragged that government out, what would it have been replaced with? And could that have been for someone else's benefit?
Well, that's the thing. I quite often start screaming and shouting, and I think I kind of was getting a bit irate last night when I actually had a conversation with Lembit on the phone, and I said, "You know what needs to happen, don't you? The whole government needs dissolving. They all need taking out, and just the whole system needs taking down."
Yeah.
But it's not. It's never going to be a reality. But in my world, with rose-tinted glasses, I just feel that the whole system from top to bottom, it just needs completely wiping out and it needs resetting. But like you say, with what? Lembit agreed with me, apparently.
So
but
when
with what? I mean, I know the answer. Genuine good people. We just need good people that actually care, and there's plenty of them out there. But how do you? I shouldn't really say this, but how do you overthrow a government? Or
no, that could be done. That could be done, and I want
really?
I want the guillotines there as well. But
careful what you say.
What happens? Who replaces them? If power corrupts, we're back to it again. So you're saying there's loads of good people out there. There are. I know that. There were loads of good people on the protests, but some of them have changed. People change, and we live in a system where we live in a material system, and until we start realizing that you're rewarded for living this system, does that make sense? People are more concerned about their reputation than what's right.
Yes.
We should be going down to our local MPs' houses, local councillors' houses, and knocking on the door.
Oh, careful! You will definitely get arrested for that. Like the
I've tried.
the
But
ULEZ
that's the
did.
thing. So what? If everybody did that, if everybody did it, everybody started. So we're not putting up with this anymore. We're not being violent. We just want you to address this question. You said it was safe and effective. I've got a vaccine victim would be here. Now, what are you going to do about it? Why aren't you going into Parliament? Or I've got a grooming gang victim here. Why aren't people being held accountable on a local level?
Well, this is the thing.
Keep passing the buck. It's incredible.
It's not just that as well. It's not that they're not being held accountable. I mean, you just mentioned the grooming gangs, and we've got Keir Starmer here. I think he's got to be the most hated man, and also the most hated Prime Minister ever. I mean, we keep looking at him as an individual, as a person, but to me, he's just a puppet on a string. He's just doing what he's told. So it could be anybody. He's just prepared to sell his soul.
Yeah. I think he's been brought in to do a job.
But they all were, though. They all
destroy all this.
Yeah, they've all been brought in at certain times to fulfill certain parts of this agenda. And right now, we've got Labour probably doing the most damage, but, is red, blue, green, yellow. I mean, I'm just sick of it. I'll be honest now. And I actually said this morning, where it's Conservative, it's Labour, it's Reform, it's the Greens, it's Liberals, it's now popping, Restore Britain and Advance. Are they actually any different? Can any of them actually be trusted? Because that's the other thing. You don't know who to trust. But right now, we have Labour, and they've just managed to shut down a public inquiry into the rape grooming gangs. And first of all, no one's being held accountable. They're not being held accountable. But worse still, why are we not absolutely screaming the rooftops down over this?
Yeah, that's a very, very good point. It's like, why?
What's going wrong? Like I said, let's go back 6 years ago. You were on all of those protests. Your observation through your lens, through your photography, through your videos, you capture the life and soul of people. You captured the life and soul of those lockdown protests, not what was put on mainstream media, as in, the violence that was actually incited by the police, but, the arrest. You captured the fun. as I said, the laughter, the love, the singing, the dancing, the people being united. We're not seeing that so much now. Why are we becoming so desensitized? Why are we becoming so numb to everything? Why are we starting to care less?
Well, I'll give it. When did political correctness start? Oh, you can't say that. We can't say that, Matthew. We can't say that, Matthew. Well, back then, I used to enjoy saying what you couldn't say. And
I think I still do say what you can't say, but
yeah, but then I went through a state. I settled down and got married, and just to keep the, an island business, and you can't say that thing out loud to customers, and blah blah blah. And then COVID came, and I was like, I'm not doing it anymore. I'm not doing this. But it's it's social conditioning. Oh, you can't say this, you can't say that. Well, now it's law. You get put in prison for saying it.
yeah.
People can phone up the police and complain that you've offended them by saying there's only two genders, or it's daytime when the sun's shining. This has got ridiculous now.
I think it is an element of that, but I also think people are starting to care less, and people are giving up. You think how many people are still playing a part in this or fighting against this in one way or another, whether it's protesting or it's direct action or it's trying to fight through your councils and your government. How many people that you knew back then still standing doing this now?
Not many. Nothing like the numbers before. But I'll tell you another thing. When I went to a lot of protests with Dean, and we missed a lot. We were late for trains. We were late getting to places because he was always stopping and speaking to the beggars at stations. And I said, "Come on, Dean." "Oh, no, come and have a chat with this fella." "Go, I'm just getting him a coffee. Hang on a minute." And it's like, "What are you doing? We ain't got time for this nonsense." But we got to know a lot of. I still see them now. Some of them, and some of them are lovely people. I know they take my head off at 10 o'clock at night if there's no one around and witnesses. But in the day, these are people. And Dean and the people from the protest showed me about charity. And I went to a Tommy Robinson protest. We covered that, and then we went round to the left. And they were all standing there chanting, "Refugees are welcome here, save the planet." Millions of these signs just being dumped everywhere. And there was a couple of Romanian beggars sitting there with empty pots, and the people walking straight past them going, "Refugees are welcome here." What? Dean, I've sat with tramps. I've learned how to become invisible. Just go to Marks and Spencer's, go to any town centre, find a tramp and sit with him on his cardboard. I offer to buy him a coffee. He'll let you sit with him, and you'll see people will just step up. They don't see you. It's incredible. They've got to get back to the car park. I've got to move the car. They just haven't got time to. They don't want to see you. You become invisible. That's what I'm trying to talk about. I think a lot of this society is actually down to us. There's just no compassion, no love. The hatred's being increased. It's quite incredible. It's frightening, really.
We have actually run out of time. It's gone really quick, but I was going to say, I actually said something like this the other day. I said, what is, our governments, etc., are doing to us. But actually, we are the problem. We're the problem because there's not enough of us to stand united together. And it is, power in numbers.
Until we stop putting up with just the petty stuff, it will just continue.
Yeah.
And all I keep seeing is people pointing the fingers and blaming other people all the time.
I've got two questions, and I need you to answer them really quickly. The first one, what did you believe back 6 years ago that you no longer believe now?
The government would kill me. Right.
And what do you see coming next for us moving forward in all of this, personally for you?
Good stuff.
Do you?
Yeah.
That is very mixed. Sorry, we are running over, but that is very mixed because a lot of people who are very sort of spiritual think that we're going to go through this process and it's, we're going to go through the bad and then we're going to come out good at the other end. I don't know. Jury's out for me.
COVID was the darkest period of my life, and it was an absolute living nightmare, and it's been the best time of my life. Bring on Armageddon. Bring it on.
That's your final words, Matt. Bring on Armageddon. So, thank you.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you, Claire.
You're welcome.
I will send you that video. It's only about a minute long, I think, with Willsey. That's what I wanted to. There's so much I want to say, but we all bigged each other up when this all started.
Yeah.
I was putting people on my YouTube channel. We were all bigging each other up. Yeah, get him to play, get him to, and it's not like that anymore. And we've got all the information. We're so connected now, and yet we're not doing it.
And now we're knocking each other down. So
Yeah.
Thank you, Matt.
Love you loads. Speak to you later.
You too. So tonight, you've heard one man's story, but many people watching will recognise parts of it in their own lives. And across different countries, we've seen similar patterns, governments acting in step, the same messages constantly being repeated everywhere, and big decisions being made that affect millions of people. And it makes you stop and ask, is this all just coincidence, or is there a bigger global plan shaping our future? And when decisions are made far away from people who have to live with them, democracy can start to feel very, very distant. And when fear is used to drive policy, and when certain opinions are pushed while others are completely shut down, that's not healthy for any free society. And this isn't about fear, it's about staying aware. And freedom is rarely taken away all at once. It's usually chipped away slowly, bit by bit, often in the name of safety or crisis or convenience. If there is a wider global agenda at play, it only works if people switch off and stop asking questions. And real power in a democracy comes from informed, engaged citizens, not silent ones. The future won't just be shaped by politicians or global organisations. It will be shaped by whether ordinary people choose to pay attention, speak up, and hold leaders to account. I'm Claire Dyer. This is Dire Consequences here on Unprecedented TV, and thank you for watching.